guys, I'm Saumya and I am back again after a mini break, kind of an involuntary break, because I had been quite unwell for the past 2.5 weeks. Now I feel well enough to at least sit down to film this video. Delhi is extremely cold right now and I don't know how are we going to hold up in the days that are to come, because I have been hearing that it's going to get worse. In today's video, I'll be telling you guys about my top 10 best reads of 2019. So in 2019, I was able to read 66 books, which is not a good score for me, to be honest. I averaged out for around 5 books every month. I had read 100 books in 2018 and almost 99 books in 2017. So 66 is quite a drop. Please let me know in the comments about your favorite books of 2019. I'll really look forward to hearing from you. And if you like this video, do not forget to give this a thumbs up and also share it. And if you like bookish content, that's what I make on this channel. So do hit that subscribe button and also press the bell icon. Let's get started. The first book is Educated by Tara Westover. So this one is non-fiction and a memoir. And in this book, Tara Westover has talked about her life growing up in a conservative family in Idaho in the United States. So her father was a very radical man and he did not believe in the idea of any man-made institution. He did not believe in schools, he did not believe in hospitals, and he was convinced that the government was against them. And Tara Westover never really went to a school all her life, but she still ended up getting a PhD. So she has talked about the price that she had to pay for acquiring such education. She has also talked about her relationship with her abusive elder brother and the challenges that she faced in her life. Overall, it's a very inspiring book that even in the face of so many challenges, Tara Westover never really gave up. She never really stopped herself from getting an education. Educated is one of those books that I had been hearing so much about, and I'm so happy to say that this book definitely lives up to its hype. The next book is The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. So this is the first book in the series and there are 6 books so far. So the genre of this book is science fiction, and I can't believe I'm including a sci-fi book in my top 10 best books of 2019. But I have to tell you, I thoroughly enjoyed reading this book and I'm really looking forward to reading the next book, which is The Restaurant at the End of the Universe. Well, I had listened to this one as an audiobook and I must tell you that I was laughing so frequently in this book, and that is what completely won my heart about it. So in this story, Earth is demolished by the Vogons and there is just one man left surviving. His name is Arthur Dent. So this is basically a story of his misadventures as he goes around the universe with his friend Ford Prefect. This is a story about the challenges he faces and his experiences. It's very good and I highly recommend it to everybody, even those people who do not read a lot of sci-fi books. Next one is Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind by Yuval Noah Harari. So this one is non-fiction and this is one of the most popular books ever, and I've had this one for over a year now, and I am going to say that the experience of reading this book was thrilling, to say the least. I read about some incredible things in this book, some things that were completely unbelievable, and Sapiens every now and then challenged my thought process, to be honest. This book is thrilling, this book is unbelievable, incredible, challenging. It is so many things all at once, and even though this book is non-fiction and non-fiction books tend to get a little bit boring sometimes, that doesn't happen with Sapiens at all. In Sapiens, Yuval Noah Harari has talked about how our societies came to be. He has talked about the basis of our belief systems, our thought processes, and he has also talked about what might lay in store for us in the future. I have never read a book like this before. The next book is Persuasion by Jane Austen. So this is a story of Anne Elliot, who is 27 years old and she's unmarried and there is no chance of her getting married anytime soon either. But 8 years ago, when she was 19, she was kind of engaged to this young naval captain, but for some reason or the other it did not work out and he left. But after these 8 years he returns and now he has prospered, he has risen in ranks. What happens after his return, whether they get together or not, is what Persuasion is about. So I am generally an ardent fan of Jane Austen books. That is one reason why I love this one so much. Plus another bigger reason why I adored Persuasion is because I absolutely love the concept of this book. Two people in love couldn't somehow make it work the first time and life gives them a second chance. I mean, in reality, life is not often that generous, but at least one can read about such things in books like these that are so well written. I loved everything about Persuasion. I loved how everything played out. The next book is Tuesdays with Morrie by Mitch Albom. So this book is non-fiction. So after years of graduating, the author Mitch Albom reconnected with his sociology professor Morrie, and he used to go to meet Morrie every Tuesday. So that's why this book has been titled Tuesdays with Morrie. In every meeting, Morrie dispenses some invaluable life lesson, and to be honest, what makes his life lessons special is that they are very simple things, but people often forget about them in the pursuit of chasing their goals and ambitions. Life really passes away and one just keeps chasing one's goals and ambitions. So Tuesdays with Morrie is a special book because it puts a lot of things in perspective. It kind of reminds you what truly is important in life, and I must say it has been written very well. It also gets very emotional. The entire experience of this book was so gentle and I loved every bit of this book, and I'm so happy to have read it, and I highly recommend this one to everybody who hasn't read it. The next book is Pyre by Perumal Murugan. This one has been translated from Tamil to English by Aniruddhan Vasudevan. So this is a story about a young couple. The guy is called Kumarisan and the girl is called Saroja. So they both get married and they arrive in Kumarisan's village, but they have a secret, and that secret is that they both belong to different castes. Their marriage is an intercaste one. So they hope to keep this a secret, but the villagers in Kumarisan's village suspect otherwise. By Saroja's appearance and by her conduct, they are able to guess that she doesn't belong to their caste, and as they get surer of this fact, they get more and more angry. Pyre is a very intense story about the society's need to control everything in people's life, be it their married life, be it their love life, and how society often imposes unreasonable restrictions on people's life. In this case, it's obviously caste system. Both Saroja and Kumarisan are very, very real characters. Kumarisan is optimistic that everything will be eventually alright. Saroja is apprehensive. You are able to feel her fear through the pages. It's so palpable. Pyre is a book that completely shakes you up. The next book is Art Matters by Neil Gaiman. So this one is non-fiction. I had listened to this one as an audiobook, and the audiobook was read by Neil Gaiman himself. How wonderful is that? So in this book, Neil Gaiman has talked about the importance of art. He has talked about the importance of imagination, and he has talked about the importance of reading and libraries. This last part is my personal favorite because listening to Neil Gaiman talk about how important reading is, how important libraries are, really warmed my heart. It made me so happy to be a reader, and I loved every bit of this book. In this book, Neil Gaiman has also talked about the challenges, thought process that one should adopt when one goes for a freelance lifestyle. Neil Gaiman has expressed everything so well, and I repeat this, that Neil Gaiman talking about the importance of reading was so pure. I mean, I love that part in the book so much. The next book is An American Marriage by Tayari Jones. So this book won the Women's Prize for Fiction for 2019, and I think it totally deserved it. As far as I'm concerned, I feel that this book is a must read. So if you haven't picked it up, please do so. The story is heartbreaking, it's tragic, and the biggest thing that you realize when you read the story is that circumstances can really screw everything up in one's life. So Roy and Celeste are married to each other and they are very happy and they have good careers, but one day everything changes for the worse when Roy is convicted for a crime that he did not commit for 12 years. Here the theme of discrimination against black people is introduced because Roy is a black man who is wrongfully convicted. Roy and Celeste try to make their marriage work while Roy is in prison. An American Marriage is a story that makes you realize that we are often helpless when it comes to life, and sometimes life can be unexpectedly and unreasonably cruel, but there is nothing we can do about it. Next book is Wonder by R.J. Palacio. Now this is a story about a 10-year-old boy named August whose face is not formed properly. He is homeschooled till the age of 10, but then his parents decide that it's finally time for him to join a proper school. Now August realizes that he is different from other people because he is used to being stared at, and as a result of that he is quite nervous about joining a proper school. And when he joins the school, unsurprisingly unsurprisingly, he starts facing a lot of bullying. So Wonder is a story about how often kids can be really cruel and mean to each other without realizing the kind of harm and hurt that they're causing. So Wonder has multiple perspectives from different characters, so it's a very wholesome kind of a story. It made me cry so much, and it's such a beautiful and an adorable story that pushes you as a reader to be kind in general, to be a good human being, to be mindful of other people's feelings. So Wonder is a story about a 10-year-old boy, but I personally feel that everybody should read this book regardless of how old they are, because it's a story worth cherishing. The next book is Fierce Fairy Tales and Other Stories to Stir Your Soul by Nikita Gill. So this is a collection of poems and stories which are basically the retellings of the fairy tales that we have grown up reading or listening to and we have grown up loving. So in this book, Nikita Gill has given a spin to these fairy tales, and she has done so by basically changing the characteristics and the personalities of the heroines of these fairy tales. Often in the conventional fairy tales, the heroines were damsels in distress, dependent on their prince and waiting for somebody to rescue them. In Nikita Gill's retellings, she has made these heroines into strong, independent women who don't need anybody, who are complete in themselves. So that is a very good and a powerful spin to these fairy tales. I loved both the idea as well as the execution of this book. So that's it. That was my list of 10 best books for 2019 for me. I absolutely loved reading these books. I loved a lot of other books, but these are the ones that I loved the most, and that's why I've included them in today's video. I hope you liked it. Do not forget to share your own list of top or best books of 2019 in the comments. I look forward to hearing from you. I hope you liked this video. If you want to connect with me on my social media, the links are in the description. I'll see you in my next video. Till then, bye bye and take care.